And welcome back, everybody, once again to the PCS Summer Split. We are 2 games down and 3 more to go. And, so many spicy potential matchups on the table. I am your mild-mannered Pyroman, and he, of course, is still the star of the night. But we also have a wonderful sponsor we need to shout out at CTBC Bank. Thank you so much for making the PCS possible. Now, Nightstar, coming up next, your boys, Frank Esports, bearing your name, have managed to look oh so good this past week, in particular in a big upset victory against Megabank Beyond Gaming, and now they're facing off against a resurgent Deep Cross Gaming, who managed to find a win against CFO yesterday with some pretty fun compositions and drafting. I love to see Deep Cross Gaming back on their ridiculosity, if you will.
And what a week it has been for Frank Esports, right? Because they came one team fight away from beating J Team, and they found the upset victory over Beyond Gaming. Now today, they have an opportunity to get another one over one of our teams that definitely finished above the Frank Esports last split. So this is a really, really cool week from Frank Esports, given their results already this week. So really excited for them. And for DCG, they got a very important victory against CFO. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and start with Frank Esports. Nothing really changing there. It carries down in that bot lane, but of course the star of the show, it's just YSKM. Please inject more YSKM champions into my veins.
Man, this guy slapped Lee Kai so hard he had to ride the bench for a game. YSKM did such a great job on the Aurelia. We got proof in the pudding as to why we were so excited for this top laner. And here's the great thing about this matchup. Like, first off, Frank Esports, everyone on this team is pretty solid. Like, I think Pretender's been stepping up. Eminem, we already know he's good. And Holo did exactly what he needed to. And we've already shouted out carries. But YSKM, he gets to go up against last split's most exciting top lane prospect in Leaky. This is going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, and I cannot wait. I fully assume DCG will save R5 for their top laner. Makes most sense here. But I mean, even then, like we saw Frank Esports against Impunity. YSKM just blind picked Jax, and he took ICU to town. So perhaps it doesn't even need to be a counter pick situation for YSKM to even succeed, as we get to see Deep Cross Gaming. We talked about the shenanigans yesterday to get the upset victory over CFO. It was the Seraphine Ashe dual bot lane that really made a big difference. Maybe, in lane, it was, pretty resident sleeper, as you would expect from the matchup. But
it's against the Senekenj, come on.
Yeah, exactly. But later on, that's where they really shown they were able to constantly fish for picks. And you could say it was part, that's one of the weaknesses of CFO, but for them to constantly find those, definitely big kudos to them. And
there you go.
This, of course, this had to be the comparison. And look at those solo kills. 4 solo kills from YSKM already. It's only been 5 games of data. So that's almost a solo kill a game.
Yeah, and not only that, they have some of the most fun champions they've been playing. Leaky had that Mordekaiser game. We've seen Jax Aurelia out of YSKM. He's drawn a number of bands of champions like that too, and man, it's so cool. I kind of feel like top lane is our most stacked lane and role here in the PCS, and these two are a big part of why.
Yeah, I would definitely throw a gander out for our bot lane. But coming into this particular split, that was definitely last split, right? Old news, as now we get a little bit more talent here with YSKM coming in. You could say no name.
We started from the bot, now we top.
Yeah. So I love the changes into our league, and YSKM is the most exciting prospect this split. And Pig Ban.
So, Nightstar, I want to throw something out here. We went an entire pregame without talking about Nesty once, and I think that just goes to show you how exciting the rest of Deep Cross Gaming have become. as we do get into picks and bans, there are a couple of mid lane bans taken off. That Swain is a target, as it has been one of Nestie's more successful champions, as he also bans the Corki. That's been a big one for Pretender. I think Pretender has definitely leveled up on a personal performance level. I think with the team, we maybe still want to see a little bit more out of him, but it'll be an interesting matchup because this is a good chance for him to really shine if Nestie plays for the weak side.
Yeah, Pretender, one of those players that has struggled somewhat in the lane phase, but Nestie definitely a player that's not going to hard punish that part of Pretender's game. So I think removing teamfight champion like Corki is really, really nice. Frankie Sports looking at the Seraphine because they know how important it is for DCG. Double flex power for them, maybe even triple flex, right? Because you can throw it in Cascada's hands, most likely Woody, and even Nestie has already played it last split. So I think this pick makes a lot of sense. Somewhat denies a Senna as well, just because Seraphine does very, very well into Senna, as we already have seen. So I love the adaptations from Frankie Esports, even leveling up from their preparation standpoint in the pick ban.
Yeah, no, this is really cool to see coming out of Frank. I mean, we're starting to see more varied strategies, flexibility, different carries stepping up. Deep Cross, what are they going to do to answer here? They take the Diego for Hana. A lot of conversation with the team as they're taking time to see what they will adapt to in a different way. Senekench has not even really been a strategy that they've employed. Instead, the Callista, a little bit more likely. Callista Renata, that's kind of been a big one for Cascada Woody. So it's starting to look like that's the choice.
Yeah. Callista Renata most likely won't get denied either, because you do have the Seraphine. Seraphine doesn't exactly work super well with the Renata pick, although if they want to go Aphelios Renata here, they could, and just move the Seraphine into the mid lane.
They could also do the mummy denial. That's what they're holding on to right now. And they lock it in.
Wow.
So we will not get the Fate's Call bandage toss. And whoa, what is that on a hover? I kind of feel like the Skarner could work. I mean, this is so much CC. Yeah, that makes more sense, though.
Definitely some single target lockdown added with the Skarner, but you already have so much area denial here with the Seraphine and the Amumu. Adding yet another circle of influence with this Xin pick is going to make things very, very difficult for this Callista. And I love the fact that they didn't lock in an AD carry. So a lot of flexibility in this draft, right? You can still move the Seraphine into the mid lane. You can move it into the bot lane. There are options here for you. In DCG, this is very, very dangerous. They have to double ban top lane because they go ahead, blind pick the Gnar. So it will be, I would assume, Irelia and Fiora banned away by the side of DCG.
Yeah, and we hype up the top lane matchup, and Deep Cross kind of throw away the advantage they have on the red side counter pick. Unless they really want to try to give something to Nestie, it seems like that's the choice. I can't help but feel like that's a mistake.
Yeah, and as expected, those are the bans. And for Frankie Sports, they go ahead, ban away the Renata. That's, of course, the classic combination. They've already denied away the other one, which is the Mumu. And now you feel like you probably look at maybe some sort of, maybe a Gallia ban here. I would have considered that one, but they go ahead, ban away the Nautilus. That's also another one of the champions that pairs relatively well with the Callista. And for DCG, this lacks the usual DCG spice. So let's see it.
Yeah, trying to neutralize a little bit of the spice level. Frank Esports going for it there. And Deep Cross, well, this would certainly be a big meatball to chuck out at your opposition. The Rel hovered down to the timer, and that's going to be the lock-in for Woody.
This is an okay fit. Here we have decent turn potential when the Xin and Amumu do jump in. You can jump past them, get a good stun off. Frank Esports, they will get counterpick for their top laner, who has been the focal point of their squad, and we will now see where the Seraphine goes as well. So Jack's currently being the hover.
Yeah, it's his most played so far. He's got a win and a loss on it. YSGam's going to try to go 3 for 3, or rather 2 for 3, as we will get the final answer to who is going where and what and how. I think Pretender definitely would prefer something like this, Victor.
Victor adds certainly plenty of scaling in when you are up against a Callista composition. Definitely lacking in the later game scaling, but they opt for the Ahri instead. They are plenty of magic damage already, so you're not worried about, hey, we need that big hyper carry in that mid lane. So you can go for something a little bit less damage in the Ahri and also just facilitate more picks. Look at how much CC is in there. And when you play a champion like Seraphine, you want a champion that can also make plays in front of you because of the ability to carry that ultimate, that encore, further into the enemy team.
Absolutely. Now for Deep Cross Gaming, this is something I've been wanting to see out of Nesty for a while. It's the Talia. Finally gets locked in for him, and that means we are going to get some roam potential. Nesty's definitely a player that's not afraid to sack the lane to try and help impact across the map. This gives an opportunity. It kind of starts to feel like it's a Criscata win condition, which, surprise, surprise, that's what Deep Cross Gaming found a lot of success on last split.
And it came from more of those hyper carry styles, so that was the big difference. And here in this game, I do have an issue with how this composition is crafted. If you assume that Nesty is going to fall a little bit behind, which isn't too wild to make the assumption of, then where the damage is going to be coming from is only from that Callista, and this Callista just doesn't have the space to play around. You have to deal with Seraphine ultimate, you have to deal with the Jax jumping in onto you, dodging all of your autos, by the way. And then you also have to deal with the Xin jumping in the backline, clearing out space away from you with his ultimate. And just so much area denial is really the problem that I see with this DCG composition finding a win. So they're going to have to do it more so on picks and utilizing this Talia wall to its utmost potential, because there is potential for some big Gnar Talia combination plays here.
Oh, yeah. I think there is something Deep Cross have built for themselves to be able to find openers, find plays, but the damage is a little bit concerning. The question will be, as we get onto the Rift, which of these two teams will keep the momentum going? I love that Frank Esports big-brained the draft and really denied a lot of the spice that Deep Cross like to bring. Let's see if it's going to be enough here. How do you feel about this Ahri pick? I know we were talking up the Victor. What's the calculus change here for Frank Esports?
I mean, when Pretender is on this Ahri pick, he's just extremely lethal on trying to create picks. And for DCG, their only way in is to try and find picks. But against an Ahri pick, you're just denying a lot of that as well, right? You can generate your own picks, but you can also just constantly dash away out of sticky situations with your ultimate. So it denies one of DCG's win conditions with this Ahri pick.
Let's talk a little bit about our globals as well, because Frank Esports have gone for the triple teleport setup with Eminem on the Seraphine, while Nesty will at some point have access to a teleport. It's not quite as clear-cut with the unsealed spellbook.
And over on the side of DCG, they also are running double cleanse, knowing that there's so much CC to pile in, right? There's a Jack stun, there's that charm, and also the stun coming in from carries, and
level
get jumped on though.
Yeah, carries. All right.
Okay, that was
very underwhelming.
Boo! I know they can't hear us, but boo!
Fight, you cowards!
Exactly.
That's a sweet Amumu skin, by the way. I don't think I've seen that one before.
It's the teapot chroma, so it's the porcelain.
Yeah, it's the chroma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. Amumu is getting some love these days, not just in the champion pools of players, but also in the skins department. I think good old Cloud Templar would be very happy.
Yeah.
So shout out for some old school League fans. Will get the reference.
And I appreciate the Mumu coming back into meta as well, right? This is a champion, who in this current meta is really, really cool to watch because he brings that big, massive team fight potential. Not like the Nautilus, where you're kind of alt and slowly wait for the ult to kick in. This is some big wow moments, right, with the Mumu, where you can get 4 or 5 man ults and just really game changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get on my high horse for a second, Nightstar, because Amumu is a champion from a simpler time, right? He's very much a throwback. None of this 200 years of collected game design. Give me all these guns that you swap and like impossible to plan out and explain abilities, and the tooltips are like a mile long. No. He's very simple. He throws bandages, he cries, and he has an ultimate that is just press AoE and everyone is stunned. Or did it? It's simple. It's a nice, good bit of game design.
Party into the mid lane.
I'm done ranting because Pretender is in trouble. As he's gonna rotate around the side.
Oh,
no, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
nice charm
charm.
turn.
Into the orb, and here comes Holo. Not gonna be able to find it.
Good denial.
Okay.
Good denial coming in from that Steve.
Anyways.
Throwing out the workaround to deny that space. Really, really nice. And for Frank Esports, I mean, you're perfectly happy with that situation. They're just eating up time. You know, as time goes on, it's all on DCG to make the plays. They're the ones working on a bit of a clock. So, YSKM, we'll see how he does in this matchup. I don't believe he's played the Jax into the Gnar yet. And to be honest, I kind of expected the Gwen if we're looking at the individual matchup, but this pick makes much more sense given that, you know, it would be so much magic damage, right, if that was the case.
Absolutely. Hana's actually going to be waiting around here up towards the top side, and with Mega Gnar on...
And he bait it. Oh.
I mean, I think he does. That's going to be the counter-strike. The question is, does he get away? Has a flash. Waiting, holding, using.
Very good.
And YSKM's out. Well, Woody's up
Woody's
too.
making.
I don't think he's going to let him get away.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Flash Ignite available.
Locked him up under tower. Teleport coming in. All right, he's going to get some relief.
That's Seraphine.
Oh, it's double teleport. Oh, okay. They
really wanted to bait that. But
boy.
That's actually massive, though, if you think about it, because look at how far Eminem has to walk. This is a long, long journey. He's going to be making those steps.
Yeah, not so magical journey. Eminem is going to say hi to Pretender, just do a little bit of pumping up his team, you know, running through the party, getting the sound station going and just getting everyone pumped and excited. But unfortunately for them, it does mean Cryscata just gets complete free farm down bottom side. And by the way, Cryscata still has the spear.
Yeah, actually hasn't used spear yet.
That's interesting. That's Is there a chance we get somebody else spotted? Is this a leaky Pokeball?
Could be a thing. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, you could also just have it on Hana so he can ult aggressively forward.
Yeah, I kind of like the option. Okay, there you go. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking it was gonna happen. It just was a little bit delayed, or it was a visual bug. I don't know. Leaky
That
6, but
I mean, YSKM does not care.
No,
he just keeps going.
This man
has a Sheen, of course.
This man has zero cares for what the other player, other team is going to do. And that's the thing. He's got no chill, but he's got the skill to back it up. And YSKM is just so good. We have seen this Jax a couple of times in his hands. It was both times against a Gwen, though. So this is the first time he's up against a Gnar with it. You're right. And that is our matchup
down in the spot lane, even though the Seraphine is at a deficit, right? You're completely comfortable with it because you know the outscale is going to happen eventually. And the amount of CC, again, it's all about this area denial against the Callista, and there is a lot of it. Like, Cryscata has to be perfect with his sidestepping in these fights. And that also means he has to be very careful when he autos, right? Because autos are mini stuns, because you're stuck in the auto animation. Holo making his way into this bot lane as well, does dodge.
Ooh,
the vision.
Advantage toss finds Cryscata. If they can bait the trade, this is going to be big here. Level 6 yet to be hit by Eminem and Woody. Encore would be a big one to use, and nope, not going to go and fall for it. But yeah, this is a good start. I think Frank Esports, like, this is the second game against a tough opponent that we've seen them kind of draft gap. Like, this team is very, very good at putting themselves in a good position from the beginning of the game. The question is, can they pull off the execution yet again?
Yeah, YSKM does go by that control ward over by the blue area, which is really nice ward spot. Not often checked as well. Nesty will clear out that wave, and our next play should be around this next dragon in 3 minutes, or around this Rift Herald that is already up. But when we talk about Rift Herald control, of course, both of these globals or both of these roaming mid laners will start to play a factor.
Very true. And both these top laners are just going to keep wailing on each other. YSKM, yep, going to force that hop out. Here comes Hana back up to the top.
No flash on chat.
Closely by Holo. Double control wards down in that brush now. Everyone sees everything.
Yeah, everyone matching their wards across the board. And it will be Herald started out.
Herald. Ooh, boy, everybody's turning for that. Yeah, Holo's like, wait a minute. What are you all doing here? I'm going to turn him away.
Building up his Narbar. So this is a potentially very dangerous fight here. But side of Frank Esports, they have committed everyone to this. So that means DCG, they have to go back off. And because this Kalista, she's not going to push quite fast enough this wave. So they aren't going to be punished in that regard because of the fact that Seraphine crashes waves really, really easily. Kurskata will be able to get one play, but that's not quite enough to match the 2 that you are guaranteed to get if you throw down the Herald fast enough.
Yeah, but it is it's not just place. It's also like solo XP and gold off the minions too. I do think that if you're planning on having Kurskata be the big win condition, that's not a bad thing to have, but it is worth noting what you're giving up for it. Absolutely. So the Herald, gonna try to get some extra value out of that one.
Okay.
Gets another plate. I mean, yeah, that ain't bad.
Solid.
Good CS lead as well. Kurskata's going to have to do some heavy lifting, but it wouldn't be the first time that he's done that for Deep Cross Gaming. We talked about rookie prospects. Well, in the bottom lane, it was massive, as that Gnar just shoves YSKM away on the counter-strike, matching pressure for pressure, blow for blow. We do always have to keep an eye up here. Whether or not the junglers are involved, I think there's always kill potential.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that this is the clear pressure point for the side of Frank Esports. They want to find an opportunity to throw down the Rift Herald for YSKM if possible, because then you just snowball this Jax out of control with that
Deep
extra turret gold.
They cannot let that happen.
Yeah. Hana Holo will see each other here. And a lot of pings into that mid lane. Woody has made his way over to mid lane. Of course, now we have Dragon coming up. So they're just trying to get early priority so they can make their way into the river afterwards. But for Holo, this is also an opportunity to just, hey, if they expose that mid lane, we throw down Rift Herald, force them to respond, and make our way back over to Dragon. But we don't have to force this. Teleports are available from both of our bottom half teleport carriers.
Yeah, YSKM's a few seconds away. Leaky's about to get his a little bit closer off cooldown, and I think Frank have done a really good job at keeping the vision game secure so that Deep Cross can't do anything blind. I mean, this is one of the differences between some of our top and bottom teams who just get caught with their pants down.
Could be a
Frank Esports have done a good job, as they could be sandwiched here as they start off Cloud Dragon, but 4 members strong, vision fully controlled also by Deep Cross. Teleport's now available. Do they want to tangle 5v5? Holo keeping the Dragon aggro. And here comes the Weaver's Wall into Woody. They've actually isolated Pretender for the rest of the team. And Holo is the one that getting fired down upon as Kurskata just finds a lot of spears. Not enough to finish the job on the Leaky. Ran around the side. They don't even bring YSKM. This is a full-on 5v4 for Deep Cross Gaming. They get 2 and will claim the Dragon.
A very, very good fight coming in from DCG. They're the ones to bring down Leaky, very close to Mega Gnar as well, or bringing him down at the very least gives them the numbers advantage. They also have the teleport to send them back up into the top lane. Great ultimate coming in from Nesty. It splits up this fight and makes sure Holo doesn't have any other help. And this is like the Cloud Dragon. Starting out the Cloud Dragon is very, very dangerous because of how much damage Cloud Dragon does bring to the table. He's already taken down to half HP before this fight even starts. And he jumps in, yes, the idea is good. But unfortunately, because of the wall and because of how much damage Holo takes at the start of that, there's just not enough pressure to actually commit to try and win that fight. So
Yeah, he's fully
DCG,
zoned out of that one.
well done there. And YSCam, he could get jumped on. There's 3 people up top.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. But his game senses
He has a
were
good
tingling.
ward.
Oh, maybe they weren't. Going for the flash into
no.
the hit. Oh, no. That's the chase. He's stunned. He goes for it. And he even gets the kill in the 1v3. But Hana will claim his life and his soul afterwards. So, my goodness. Here's the dive coming on. Cascada isolated from the pack. Should be able to get him here. And Eminem even taking a little bit of sour shots. It's Holo that gets him. Cascada even burns flash, insult to injury.
Very well done coming in from Frank Esports. Very simple play there, and for Cascada, just overstays his welcome. Again, you're showing your 3-man. The immediate response coming in from Frank Esports was very, very swift. There was very good response.
Second
yes,
place, too.
It's definitely, you know, hey, you should definitely know that you're going to come under fire because the jungler is going to make his way over, seeing the other jungler up on the other side. But it's also a play that Frank Esports weren't super decisive on last split. So, you know, definitely credit where credit is due for Frank being able to quickly identify these changes.
Yeah, they've kept the gold relatively close, despite the fact that Deep Cross have been able to win a little bit more on these fights and get a little bit of CS.
Ooh,
Hana,
fast fingers.
Finds YSCam instantly on the counter-strike. And it's honestly, just once that staff starts twirling, you're just like, all right, I'm not getting anywhere near that anytime soon. I love YSCam's killer instinct, right? He knows he's a dead man. He knows that it was so close. He's like, all right, YOLO. Just dives in, realizes he's dead either way, and he grabs Leaky. Like, there are top laners who will very much hesitate and just straight up lose. Not YSCam.
He's gonna get himself a blue buff as well, so the extra ability haste.
Not for you, Pretender.
I mean, he's just going to be able to constantly take trades now. And against a manaless top laner, it helps considerably because it just means it's one less resources you don't have to really manage here as Dragons in 2 minutes, so we're a little bit early to the party. Definitely.
Yeah, this is just board wars. That's okay. I mean, it's a very important dragon, right? Because you've got a pretty big soul if Deep Cross can secure it. But I think also for Frank Esports, they've got time on their side. They want to just cut the Drake stack because, as you said, it's really on Deep Cross to make those plays early before things get out of control and the monster in the top lane just starts wrecking towers.
Yeah, for DCG, they absolutely need this Dragon Soul because it helps put them over the top with looking for damage against things like a Amumu, a Xin, a Jax, and shores up a lot of their late game issues where they should run out of damage. Now they're going to make their way back into the river, be able to reclaim some of the vision control. And Frank Esports, though, you know, they understand the game here. Just keep jostling back and forth.
This also the spike mythics are pretty much on everybody but the supports right now too. A couple of Leandries, Frank, are definitely looking to deal some damage in the magic department as well.
Yeah, looking more so for these slower fights. Pretender opting for it as well. Also has the lucidity boost. So his playstyle here is essentially, I want my ultimate up as much as possible because I know the only one of the few ways we can lose this mid-game tempo and slow our way to the late game is if I get caught out. And I don't have cleanse. So the best way for me to do that, just have my ult up more so I can keep dashing.
Keep your eye on those teleport timers. They're about to come up, and that's in time for the dragon. I feel like last time with the 5v4, you know, YSCam just opted instead to try and get a few plates off the tower, but it did cost his team. If that was the play call, they didn't quite win out on the fight. Now they got the inside track on the dragon. 4 members are here, and they are going to proc it at least. Holo doing this in full vision as they clear the ward away, and it's actually Deep Cross that are not making the move to set it up. Charm does go out. You gotta be careful in those choke points. They are waiting and baiting it for the time. Will the Jax TP in? YSCam sitting in the brush. Actually just gonna start walking for it. Here comes the TP.
There we go, Leaky teleporting.
Ah, it's matched. That's a little bit of a long distance, though. Here comes YSCam. How late will he be to the party as they do find the stun?
YSCam?
Here comes the Weaver's Wall. It's going to cut a couple people off from, but YSCam does immediately go to the counter strike. Looks for Leaky. No Narbar to speak of, and he's actually zoned out of this one. Hana, Woody, trying to buy a little time here. Hana takes takes him out of the fight, and they claim the Jacks for themselves. Chris got addition damage, and it's Frank Esports that are headed for the hills here.
They're all really low.
There's a chance. Stolen, rather, secured by Hana. Finally, Deep Cross Gaming, they get the fight, they get the dragon again, but that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, it was definitely on the edge, but DCG, they get the lead they need. They find themselves the third dragon to threaten Soul on that next spawn, and in addition, they've been able to craft themselves a 5k gold lead. And once more, is Frank Esports starting out the dragon. I feel like them starting it out is just not what they want to do. They want to wait for YSCam to actually get here before they throw in that play. And the wall, once more, finds really solid impact, although, you know, maybe split impact because of the fact that it does split Leaky off of his team. But they are able to reconvene very quickly, and things go south for Frank Esports. But Frank Esports, again, it's just about buying time. Unfortunately, this 5k gold lead can be a deal breaker right here because of, again, the soul point, or soul is being threatened.
Yeah, Frank, I mean, Silver Linings have got objective bounties, but unfortunately, Rift Herald is still going to push a little bit faster than a Jack solo, and I kind of feel like YSCam maybe should have just stayed on top side. Could have threatened that a little bit more, and it was just such a far teleport, and then, yeah, he gets involved, doesn't quite pop Leaky in time, even in Mininar, and gets completely isolated. Hana turns on him, gets the reset, and this is the thing about Viego. You manage to get the kill, all of a sudden you can turn one of your opponent's greatest strengths against them by stealing away their champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and stealing away all their items as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not fair, man. Viego is too good.
Exactly.
Can you believe he was even better last season? Holy moly, man. Rito, please.
Oh my God, Scott. He's pretty strong now. Has 2 items now completed.
Against his rage blade.
He's trying to get to. I feel like this is an incorrect build path. He's going for the Archangels right here. I would have much rather see him with the Rylai's, just because, again, moves when you apply these slows onto a champion like Kalista, it does also hamper her ability to do damage.
And that's what Chris Gotta did yesterday.
Yeah, the move speed reduction makes it harder to jump around, and jumping around is pretty much directly related to how many auto attacks you do get out as a Kalista. So DCG.
I'm a little surprised by Eminem doing that, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, like, if anybody knows
it's a little bit cheaper
around a Kalista, it's got to be Eminem. Maybe it is just an adaptation because they are behind. He's trying to get himself into the later stage of the game, but you got to be ready to fight in 2 minutes. That's honestly gonna be game defining at this point.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit more damage. Actually, I'm not sure if it is cheaper given the fact that Rylai's is an incredibly cheap item. I'm actually thinking that it's still probably cheaper to go for Rylai's. But Frank Esports, what's the next move? That, of course, you know, it's Dragon is on the table in 90 seconds, but can they find anything before then?
If they can get a pick, that's massive, right? Like, Deep Cross Gaming could push themselves a little bit too deep in enemy territory, but playing it relatively safe, grouping when they go a little deep, controlling this side of the map, and getting a lot of vision down. It does seem like they're eyeing towards Baron. You know, Deep Cross could just be saying, all right, I mean, if we let you take the dragon away, we're just going to handshake for the Baron buff. Like, that's possible. They have a Kalista. It's basically a second smite.
Yeah, they have their pick of the litter when it comes to foreseen objectives. So now they're also going to get the Scuttle in the bot river, which means that's going to grant them vision once Dragon does spawn. And for Frank Esports, they're just trying to do what they can, which is get mid lane priority, rotate over for bot river, and try and clean out the vision. But more importantly, Pretender needs to get here. They need to just full group 5 and sort of ARAM it up. YSCam is here. Pretender does have a Cosmic Drive, so a lot of cooldown or ability haste built into this build to try and generate picks and stay safe.
stay safe, the name of the game. Carries getting caught for a second by Leak. He does walk away with most of his health. And now they've grouped, but the Dragon is up. This is going to be big. Inside track for Deep Cross. Keep your eyes on YSKM. This time he has the ability to choose his own positioning. Deep Cross, they're going to start by cutting him off. There's the Weaver's Wall. Here comes YSKM around the side. They still find the damage. Oh, a big old Gnar, but here comes the Jax along with the Amumu, looking for Cryscata, but Nesty's already taken him and out of this fight. What a big old Gnar from Leaky. Sets up for his team, earns himself a double kill, and they go Goomba stomping to victory.
And that was probably more of the ideal setups right there coming in for Frank Esports. You get YSKM onto the big carry of Cryscata, and you just think, oh, that's all their damage gone. But no, they've just dogpiled in way too much on the other side of that wall. Woody finds a great stun lockdown combination into Nesty, into later on that Mega Gnar ultimate. And DCG, they find the play call, and it's very, very well executed, and they are well on their way to closing this game out.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I think they even timed it on the Baron just well enough to have Cryscata come up. Let's take a look at this fight. Yeah, a really good start to this. They are able to have Pretender lead, but man, Woody just unlocks everyone for days. It's like Super Bash Bros over here. And Cryscata dies. So what? Look at that Gnar from Leaky.
Yep.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It really doesn't. And just not enough damage afterwards. Pretender with this build, of course, keeping himself safe, but already one of those champions that just doesn't have that extra oomph as the game moves forward to be able to eat through some of these targets.
I would have liked a Victor, just saying. Either way, Frank Esports, they did a good job on the draft. I think the execution here, they've had a couple of missteps, nothing major, but like we're starting to see Deep Cross in the comfort zone, and the fact that they were able to get such a Drake stack going and now into the Soul, as well as Baron buff, it's huge. And yes, Cryscata even got the buff as well, but here's the Death Rush, and they turn their attention over to Holo. Cryscata staying alive, Fate's call out, and he just hops, skips, and jumps. They didn't really under fire at all, and Leaky now with the Narbar, gonna be able to just chuck the house at Frank Esports here. They can't quite get the tower just yet, but
yeah,
Frank can't get any kills off that, and that was the element of surprise gone.
Yeah, they don't get a pick, but they get Cryscata low enough that DCG do have to go for a soft reset.
Round two. Here we go. Leaky going back, getting himself a bye, and they will be able to do this one all over again.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Pyra. They need Baron to be able to push these towers. They need the Baron cannon minion to do damage to towers, because who's going to walk up and auto attack? That's the core issue of a Kalista composition. You just don't really have the range to take these towers. So they have to play these games, or this push, by really as textbook as it gets, because you need to wait for these minions to walk up to actually do anything.
Now, if there's one thing Deep Cross Gaming understand, it's how to play to their game plan when they have one. This game, it certainly is the case, so they start to crack the base here. 26.5 minutes, they have knocked down the door to mid lane. And it's quite a wallet diff that they're going to be able to hit Frank with in a 5v5.
Meja is also completed onto Nesty. He's getting a lot of value out of that. So, good things all around for DCG.
Can I just say that? Like where we were asking Nesty to play some of these champions, it felt like this should be his meta. Why did it take this many games for the Talia to come out?
It could have been either Talia or the Galio in this instance, right? Would have played very
He's got to win on that
role.
already.
So, yeah, it is a solid champion pool. Yes, it doesn't... Right now, the other alternative is playing a lot of these high damage threat mid laners that scale super well.
That doesn't sound like that.
That can potentially come back to bite them later on against some of these tougher opponents for DCG, right? Of course, your PSG Talons, your CFOs, even though they did get one win over CFO yesterday, it's certainly something to keep track of as we move forward.
Now, you did talk about damage dealing mid laners. There's a Shadow Flame that just got completed by Nesty. How you feeling about those threaded volleys?
going to do a lot of damage, right? Because of the shielding coming in from Eminem is going to enable that extra penetration damage.
That's big stuff. All right. Deep Cross Gaming not giving an opening here as they have exhausted Baron buff but continue to find towers to deal damage with the herd of minions on them. They'll take that down. 7 towers to the 2 that have been knocked down by Frank. And YSKM still trying. Oh no, Pretender runs face first. And Hana nearly goes down. He's burning. Still alive in that one.
But now, this is Elder Dragon about to spawn in 1 minute. There's just no way for Frank Esports to get into it. They're going to have to find a way to face check. And that's problematic. We do have the voice staff now finished by Pretender, but of course, with how much true damage is already built into her kit, it doesn't amp up her damage that much. It still will help. But because this is, you know, a very cooldown reliant build, not really much of a, I would say, a penetration build, it does limit the impact just a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Pretender, he's not going to have as much. We haven't really seen that much impact overall. I mean, the charms not have landed as much as we would have liked. I think Pretender may be having a bit of an off game, although...
How do they play around this Nesty wall? That's the big question.
Leaky with the Gnar bar. 15 seconds. He's trying to buy some time on it.
And here's the thing, like, once DCG throw it on the wall, there's just nothing Frank can do. Like, what do you even do here? Because if you jump over, you're going to get stunned. Whoa. And then if Leaky is Mega, you're just going to get Wallop and Nard straight back into the Talia wall. So, they need to figure things out. At least they aren't starting out the Dragon themselves.
Uh-oh. YSKM forced Counter-Strike and leap already.
Oh no, yes.
A little bit low from the Talia. That stings. Dragon at 8,000. There's the channel.
Talia wall.
It's going to cut him off. Oh dear, Pretender. Holo, that's the 3-man, and they've got the stun lock, and it's just an absolute bashing. Yet again, forget the Elder. They're going for the fight, but YSKM would love to be the hero for his team. He just doesn't have the damage to do it. Hana mopping up on Eminem, and that is lights out.
It's just these team fights, they just don't have a way to deal with that Talia wall. Yes, the Talia had 0 impact during the lane phase and is not the way you would usually see the Talia find value. She's usually about attacking these side lanes aggressively, constantly roaming, and here it was literally no roams coming in from Nesty, but the value found in these team fights, in these Dragon setups, was just absolutely impeccable, and he gets the clear MVP even through Leaky finding so much impact with his Mega Gnar ultimates.
Oh yeah, Deep Cross Gaming are absolutely back. They have some great strategies on the board for them. I love watching Nesty on a roaming champion. The Talia wall was used as such a fantastic initiation, divide, and conquer tool. Deep Cross Gaming can be very happy with their week as they step it up big time to go 3-0 in week number 2.
Big bounce back from them coming in week 2. And for Frank Esports, they do drop to 3-3, but I would also say that they made big strides this week. They found a win that, you know, they found a win out of 3 that a lot of people coming in from last split wouldn't give them. So this is still a big step up for them. And I love the way our league is really shaping up just through 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're seeing some interesting strategies come out from multiple teams. Deep Cross Gaming, after a little bit of time in week 1, kind of out in the woods, looking for some strategies, maybe taking the time to adapt to the meta. They certainly are back, and really, it's great to see. I think Nesty has found his footing on this meta. We're seeing Chris Scotta try a couple different things. Very clearly, the Kalista worked very well for him, but it wasn't the only win condition, right? You know, they were able to keep YSKM from snowballing quite well. I think Leaky holding the line did a great job with that. And the Gnar was so impactful, especially paired with the Rel. It's just such a great combination that we don't get to see as often as I think we should. Granted, a lot of support bands came into play here, but you know, Leaky and Woody just comboed up so well, and we don't usually see the opposite sides of the map just, you know, like a magnet
linking up
as often as that.
Magnet Storm, right?
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
Snaps.
I mean, that's how I understand how magnets work. I don't know about
Yeah,
you, Frank, but you know,
just clicks into place. And that's how DCG's composition really worked. You look up and down. I felt like Frank Esports got the better overall draft, but how DCG worked their composition worked very, very well, right? We questioned, hey, where's the damage coming from? It's all on Cryscata. Well, I don't even think Cryscata did a ton of damage this game. I think he's probably sitting around that 20%. But the rest of the map was able to do it because of how impactful those walls were, and being able to wombo off of that. It was all about the wombo.
Yeah, it was great. And just, I felt like every single time, Frank, they didn't really know what to do when they got cut off by the wall. And it's, you know, sometimes these types of big CC, like stun lock combinations are really good when you get something like a Mountain Rift. But barring that, you can just make your own. So Leo with the Weaver's Wall, it came up huge. I agree with you. I think Nesty definitely earns the MVP for me because those team fights just don't happen the same way without his setups. The team knew exactly what to go off of. And this is the thing about Deep Cross Gaming. When they have a game plan, they know exactly what they need to do. There is no latency for the go button. And you're right. Look at the Callista damage. It's nothing. Then Talia just popped off way more. And Hana did great on the Viego. We saw the Gnar. Like, everybody did what they needed to. I felt like the Callista was just bait.
Yeah, the Callista ended up just playing her role of saying, hey, I'm the distraction, the big old distraction, and allow the Viego to just go wild. And, okay, MVP goes to win.
All right, you know what? That's fair.
He had some massive magnet storms.
Yeah.
So he had big impact in these team fights, but again, it was in tandem with that Weaver's Wall. So I feel like it was very much a co-MVP sort of game.
Yeah, I mean, this is Deep Cross. They play really well as a team, especially when they're all on point. But Woody earning the MVP, we don't often see that on a champion like Rel. We don't often see that on support. So congratulations to him. And honestly, if you are Deep Cross Gaming, you can end this week extremely happy. That was such a bounce back from week 1. And that's all it done and dusted. We're halfway through the day, so we got a couple more games to go. We're going on break. When we return, CFO take on Doish team. We'll be right back.